If you're a fan of Chivalry, now is a time to be very excited because we're close to the release of the next content update, which brings us a new map, Aberfell, and a new weapon, the Highland Sword. Since I play PC, I have access to the test server and was able to get about an hour and a half of gameplay in while my kids shot me with Nerf guns. And now, if you've not experienced the public test server, it was a very interesting place. First lobby I was in was filled with super salty players who were arguing with each other over which ones are actually trash at the game. Players were sweating like they're in the Olympics, coaching team strategy in chat while placing engineer traps and running meta weapons. And a heap of other content creators and top players were in the server, which made for a much different feeling lobby than usual, but it was pretty fun to have every fight be a challenge. I'm Strider the Champ, and in today's video, I'm going to give you guys my first impressions on both the new Aberfell map and the Highland Greatsword, and I don't want to get too firm in my opinions here on things like map balance, because all the things I mentioned before led to a drastically different feeling lobby than when the game will be released to the public. And now before we start, I'll probably put a clip or two at the end of the video with sound on and no commentary for you guys to enjoy. Subjectivity be damned, I'm going to just come out and say it, but I think Aberfell is the best looking map Torn Banner has created to date. It's so much different than anything in the game. For starters, the entire map is fought in a very open highland environment with hills, rivers, and small cliffs, and this open terrain really spreads the players out and can create some smaller skirmishes. It was very refreshing to not be funneled into like a bridge choke point. The map starts with Agatha assaulting a small town by stealing their livestock and peasants. It's absolutely hilarious to see a player running with a pig or a peasant, and perhaps the best thing is you can actually throw them for kills. The map then continues through a variety of objectives where you destroy a fort, topple Stonehenge-like ruins, and lastly, slay a bunch of pagan druids. Unfortunately, I did not get to play a druid in this test. I'm super excited about actually trying one out. Initial feelings were that some of the objectives favored the defense, but with all quality players in the lobby and not knowing the best strategies yet, these feelings are very subject to change. Aberfell seems well worth the wait, and most importantly, it ran smooth as butter for me. Hopefully, we can keep the streak of successful patches going. Now, as you're seeing in the clips, I ran the Highland Sword for the entire play session, and this thing's awesome. I had a blast using it, and I can't wait to get into an actual public lobby with this thing. It seems pretty devastating. First off, it looks like a weapon out of the Final Fantasy VII series. That sword that Cloud has, it's just massive. It actually looks a bit ridiculous seeing people run around with a weapon the size of a small tree, but goddamn, is it fun to use. The Highland Sword hits hard as hell with slashes and overheads, and they're just devastating, but it's also just slow as all hell. It feels a bit like using a longer maul, but just maybe not as slow. The sword also has a jumping special attack similar to the Greatsword, but what is really cool is it has a standing special attack where you spin your weapon in a complete circle, hitting enemies around you. Now, I will say I did whiff this attack almost every time I threw it out there, but with some practice, I'm sure it'll be pretty devastating. And now, while I said the Highland Sword is just hella fun, I'm not sure how truly viable the weapon will be once the initial excitement wears off. To me, it didn't feel overly fluid to fight with, and I guess this should make some sense with the size of it, but chaining attacks together, it felt very slow, almost unresponsive at times, and I had my attacks beaten by faster weapons multiple times despite having initiative. In a 1v1 fight, I don't think this weapon will be viable in comparison to say like a longsword, a messer, or a Danax, but it will excel in those heavy swing only situations where you jump into a mob of 5 dudes and decap them all with one swing. This weapon will be devastating to groups of enemies and teammates alike. I'm ashamed to admit I did do an excessive amount of team damage with it. Now that's it for me, guys. Enjoy the next few clips with some sound, subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitch, and get hyped for the new patch. I predict it'll drop next week. Champ out.
That's enough!
No way.
Not good! Straight! Most of those ancient stone columns are down! Keep toppling them! How does it feel to get your sacred relics destroyed? Sagathians, heretics leaders are gathering in a stone circle.
No way.
Kill them all!
Don't give these milksops an entry.